Hey everyone, and welcome to my review of the new Coastal Living set from the Sims 3 store. Now, ideally, what I'd like to do here is give a small critique, and again, I mean, as you've seen, I just have the hardest time getting through things quickly. Here I go, even talking, so we'll just get right into it. I built this little house just for the sake of showing everything off, because you know how that's exactly what I do. It's on the coast and moonlight falls, and I thought, well, we may as well have a nautical setting if we're going to go for the nautical style. The first thing I want to show off is this Nantucket-inspired gate, and it's even called the Nantucket Gate, and the Nantucket-inspired fence. It's not really a picket fence, it's a slatted fence, but I think it actually really evokes the appropriate style, and the graining in the wood, it reminds me of a ship, and I genuinely like it. Let's see, over here we have the cornicing. Right there. This is what we're looking at. And it comes with the set. It's basically a cornice. You put it on top of a wall. You can put that up on top of your house or wherever. It really doesn't matter. You can put it along a rooftop if you want. Or just on a wall in your, like actually in the interior, you can put it on the wall and it ends up looking pretty cool. I can't remember if you need to use move objects on to do that. I should check. Yeah, I'll have to do that. Okay, so this set comes with 19 items, and it is currently 900 simoleons. Jeez Louise, it is 900 sim points on the Sims 3 store, and it doesn't contain any premium content. Pretty soon it's going to go up to, I think it's 1150 or 1050 in sim points. That's obviously the equivalent in US dollars. So it'd be $11.50 or $10.50. I had it written down, and of course I messed it up. I had it somewhere. Basically, the thing is that when I do these reviews and sort of over like a look at everything, I like to put it into context. Excuse me. So this ends up being a critique and a review. In general, I feel like the most important thing when it comes to buying store sets, especially since the content can be on the pricey side, which we'll get to later, as always. The most important thing is to understand the context and whether or not you feel that, like, if it's really important for authenticity, or if you really just don't know what you can do with these items, it's genuinely important to know these things because you are making an investment. That's pretty much my philosophy on store content, and I feel that it's really helped me. I do purchase all store content now because of the reviews I do, but in the past, when I did buy something, I wanted it to be authentic to the actual period or overall theme, and so exactly, knowing exactly what context we're putting these things in was always very helpful. Another item right here. It says actually two of the items. Oh wow, that's a weird angle. This is basically, it's a shelf, and then on top of it is a little sculpture of a whale. And you can, as you can see, you can put items on top of the shelf, which I did not have to use move objects on to achieve this. Now, as you can see, it has a little bit of a weather vane sort of inspired, it's like a knick-knack, and then a tchotchke, I guess you could say, and it has what looks to be like a little lapis lazuli type fish carved on top of it, and then you have coral that's set into a base, and then again you have your whale. It looks like some type of ceramic fitted to maybe a bronze base, something like that. I know that I'm highly specific, but, there you have it. Right, let's see. Okay, so another thing we have here is, let's go inside and take a look up. We have this, there should be roof there, but there isn't. Oh well. We have this, it's like a chandelier, basically. It is. It's a ceiling light. It's candles. They do appear to be, let me see if I can angle it better. Yes. They do appear to be actual candles. Although, I mean, you could you could suppose that they're the electric LED ones. I don't know. I mean, obviously this is in game, and I'm talking about it as it's real. But again, it comes down to how it actually looks in your game. Another thing that came with it is this rug, and this is the coloring it actually comes with. This lamp right here is, obviously again inspired by like driftwood, but also something that you would find on a ship of old. Here is a collection of knots that you can hang on your wall, and I actually think that this item is really, really special because it thoroughly illustrates and sort of embodies exactly what we're looking at here. Let's see. Okay, then you have this compass clock. I really like it. I'm not a big fan of how bright the metal is on it. Not a huge fan of that. I would probably change the color a little bit to be more muted. Here is a brass gas lamp that comes with it. Then you have the furniture. And yes, you have a love seat. And you have this little sculpture of a boat. And you have this very, very nice looking, it almost reminds me of a sawhorse. It's just very, it's very pragmatic looking. Sorry about the camera issues tonight. Then you have this rocker. It's a very nice rocker. You have this lounger, which our friend is sitting in. His name is Whitney. And there's this floor lantern. It does not, you can't put it on, like a piece of furniture unless you're using move objects on. It is for the floor. Let's see. I don't think there's much more. No, it's a very small set. Oh, yes. These window, well, they're windows, and they actually have the shades attached. And I feel like those don't fit truly into they do, but they're a little more modern. But I mean, obviously you're going with coastal living. You can go with some modern stuff. People still go onto the sea in boats. So I suppose I'm just being a little nitpicky there. It's more that I feel like it just doesn't fit with the old-timey stuff. But I mean, who's to say? I mean, all of this stuff truly does sort of evoke that coastal feeling. Oh, and this bookshelf. Wow, I'm a mess. Okay, yes. There's a bookshelf with, I love this wicker, basically it's a storage box on the bottom. And I feel like there's the woven rum bottles and the way that the books are and just the different colors that they offer. It's really quite elegant. I like it. So that is everything. I know that. That's everything. Now, to talk about nautical style a little bit, obviously you're probably aware there are a lot of blues, there's a lot of white and beige and khaki. That's because of availability. The most important thing to understand about nautical style is that it's based upon pragmatism and availability. And even comfort. I mean, obviously the way that these seats are, they're meant to be nautical style living. You have like if you're going to have like plush furniture and things like that, you'll have like overstuffed couches and all of that. But ultimately what you're trying to do is emulate how things look inside of a ship. Like you would often have built-ins. Like if this were a little taller, then I would build out a wall around it to provide the look of a built-in. You have the slatting here. These are actually rooms that are from blueprint mode, because I really wanted to throw this together quickly. I made a few changes, but not much. And like I said, okay, so back to the whole thing. You're going to go with blues, you're going to go with whites, khakis, beiges, pale yellows. These colors were what was available, and often the blue in uniforms and things like that of the navies, it was symbolic. It had to do with the types of dyes that were readily available. Now this fabric here looks like a silk, obviously because the sea was, basically people used the sea for transporting goods and things like that, and it was one of the best ways that they could later reach like places where you could get silk, etc. I mean, a lot of it is, like I said, very common sense. It's pragmatism, it's heavy woods, weathered looks, essentially. You want sort of like weathered paints and stones. Brass was quite commonly used. It was lighter and easier to deal with than like steel and iron, but it was most definitely more durable than than bronze or pewter, and less expensive. So you had your brass and all of these things. And, ultimately it was, like I said, it was a celebration of, when you do a nautical style, it's a celebration of everything that era of travel and industry and technology and development represents. And a big part of it is, as you saw with this little shelf out here, there is what looks like it's sort of like a weather vane, but it has a ship's wheel, and the ship's wheel is very, very important to nautical style because the wheel navigation in ships came about really, really late in the sort of technological development of sea travel. For a very long time, people had been using, obviously they started off using like oars and sails and things like that, but they were also using whipstaff navigation, which was highly inaccurate and really, really, really difficult to deal with. So later on, you had the development of the wheel helm, and that was a big deal. So yeah, it's sort of rich with history, but at the same time, it's practical and common sense and really, really simple. And obviously, like I said, you're gonna go with like, if you're gonna have like chairs, you're gonna want stuffed chairs, and just things which you can mix and match with these harder pieces to look a little softer, a little more comfortable. You're also, if you're going to decorate your walls, for example, this is the coastal bedroom that comes with, like in blueprint mode, you have woven walls, you want wicker, you want raffia, you want rattan, you want seagrass. A lot of the rugs, like, you could take one of these rugs and actually retexture it and create a style using a weave. I didn't do that, but I could have. This is meant to sort of, it looks like carpet, but, it could also be like raffia or some sort of woven material. Canvas was a big thing. You can always use a canvas texture for any of these pieces. And your woods in that, you're going to want to go from medium to dark colors. And obviously if you have something smoother that looks like ironwood, that's a good choice too. Yeah, that's basically the long and short of it. This was a small set. Like I said, it didn't come with any premium content, and it's pretty cut and dry. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I really, really, really do enjoy the nautical style, and I think that this set does a great job of evoking that particular motif. One thing I do wish is that they did have a couple softer pieces, which would coincide more with the overall theme. What is that? Sorry. I'm like, what is that? I don't know. Weird. I have no idea what that is. Okay. Oh, well. We'll figure it out. But, what was I saying? Yes, I would have liked a couple softer pieces to go with maybe perhaps a richer look of what you would have had in maybe a captain's chamber. I don't know, although I think this does a pretty fair job. But in general, yes, I do enjoy these pieces. I am going to be using them in my houses. Do I think that it's a little too pricey? This seems to be a theme of most reviews for these store items. Yes, I do think it's a little too expensive. On sale, it's a little too expensive, and when it's not on sale anymore, it's definitely going to be too expensive. So I can't recommend either way whether or not you should get these things, because honestly, I'm glad I have these pieces. I think that people, when they do custom content based off of these things, it's going to be textured well and look even, they're going to make even more special things, maybe make this a little taller, but I do like these pieces as they are. I wish that the store stuff wasn't so expensive. I'm buying all of it for the review purposes, and again, this seems to be a theme of what everybody who does these reviews says. I purchased this for the review purposes, but I I can't tell you one way or another to get it because it is so pricey. That said, I do think that these items are rather well made. The wood grain and all of that, even just the texture of the silk, it's like a rough hewn silk. Obviously, it's dyed using contrast cyanotype. They really took a lot into account, even with like the woven pieces and things like that. There's a lot of research that's been going into these pieces, and the sets are becoming more and more intricate and accurate. But I still think it's too expensive. If they had included maybe 5 more items, I think I'd be more comfortable saying that the 900 simoleons was okay. Simoleons, oh my god, the 900 sim points. I think I'd be more comfortable saying it was okay. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that obviously this is meant as a product placement, like a product tie-in or an impulse item, which would coincide with when Island Paradise comes out. Because a really important thing to note about Island Paradise is that it's meant to emulate the sort of topography and overall architecture of Rio de Janeiro. And so what you're going to be getting is a very specific look. Now, this offers something entirely different. Let's say you were going to do Island Paradise and you wanted to have a New England type B&B. Or hey, if you just wanted to build a B&B or a hotel or something up or in one of the worlds that reflects New England more. Well, you know, that could be really, really special. And obviously, like I said, this is meant as a tie-in and an impulse item. And I would probably fall prey to it because I do like it. But that being said, oh, this is cool. It's like a seaweed. It's like a seagrass. See, these details are pretty wild. I don't know. I honestly don't. I can't recommend it because of the price. But if it weren't for the price, I would recommend it because I feel that it's genuinely beautiful and a strong set in terms of accuracy and overall quality. So take that as you will. I apologize for not being able to tell you one way or another. Hopefully this wasn't too long. But again, like I said, with my reviews, I feel like putting these things in context and critiquing them is more important than just telling you piece by piece. So, that being said, thank you for your patience. Sorry this took a little while to get out, but yeah, I hope that this was helpful. Direct any comments to the comment section, obviously. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.